Good evening. Good evening. Today is February 15th. This is the Lawrence City Council meeting. And pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, and in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule Number 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chamber and remotely to accommodate all potential participants with a health consideration that prevents them from participating in person. Anyone who needs a remote access code should reach out to the city clerk prior to the meeting, and the phone number is 978-620-3232 at the city clerk's email address. And this meeting, of course, can be viewed digitally through our Lawrence City Council Facebook page and our Lawrence City Council YouTube page. With that, I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano.
Present.
Vice President Estela Reyes. Absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Infante.
Present.
President LaPlante.
Present. At this point, I will ask you all to please rise for a moment of silence. And will now you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have two sets of minutes. We're going to separate them in two different votes. I'm looking to get a motion to adopt the minutes from January 18th. Is there a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes.
Second.
Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll. Is the Vice President available, Madam Clerk?
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion passes. I am now looking for a motion to adopt the minutes from February 1st.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Payano, seconded by Councilor Vice President Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The chair of this moment looks to Councilor Rodriguez for the purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Council President, for the opportunity to welcome and introduce a friend of us. He's a city councilor from the city of Baragua, Provincia Gaspar Hernandez. His name is José Amaro Perez, and he's here with us today. He served as a councilor's vice president from his district, which actually served about 23,000 people at the Provincia Gaspar Hernandez to the north of the capital of Dominican Republic. Currently, he's visiting the city of Lawrence, and we welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor, and welcome to our colleague from Springfield. We appreciate you being here this evening. At this point, we will begin public participation. This is, of course, 2.5 minutes. The bell will ring at the 2-minute mark, in which case we will ask you to wind down your comments. And as always, please please do not direct your comments at any particular city council, but rather to the council as the whole. First speaker is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We, the citizen, demand of you and Honorable Mayor De Pena approve this historical vote for Leahy Clinic. Future of the Lawrence appreciate. Generation to come appreciate your vote of yes. Our city, Lawrence Police Department, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vass, has done excellent job to protect our citizens. We must support the union of the pride and honor. We demand of you declare September 13 each year the day of the police appreciation. Lawrence Police and their union demand the best contract. Million thanks to our hard-working DPW workers. Because of their hard work, Lawrence is a beautiful city. We support DPW union and their leadership. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, moving forward in dark days of these important days of the collective bargaining, we demand the best contract for our teachers and their union. The continued education of our children. The Lawrence Teachers Union must know 83,000 citizens are behind you. It is shameful that Lawrence Alliance for Education hiring people off the street and pay them more. Lawrence Public School paraprofessionals are suffering from unfair pay. We demand Lawrence Alliance for Education pay equal pay to our paraprofessionals. In the dark days of this pandemic, citizens are disappointed with the performance of Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Haley, and she is running for a governor.
Mr. Malley, remember, Mr. Malley, there's no political comments during public participation. You may continue.
Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, safe Lawrence, only possible if you sign contract for our police officers. We, the Lawrence, are proud to be the best example of the city respect for union. We support Leahy School building. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is, if we could just not applause every speaker, because we're going to be going, this is going to be a very lengthy meeting, and so we appreciate that. The next speaker is Mr. Rich Russell.
Good evening, councils. My name is Richard Russell, 34 Cross Street. Please excuse the mask. I'm 45 for 45 and passing tests, and I just had another one this morning. First, regarding agenda item, 34 Cross Street in the city. Several items to discuss, some of which are connected in a roundabout way. First, regarding agenda item 50-22, it's good to see that someone will ask for permission before doing something, while others will ask for forgiveness for their actions. Next, council will vote to approve 7 taxi cab licenses tonight. They will license cab companies and allow them to request taxi medallions for each of the cabs. My question is, are the cab drivers checked by the city to see if they're properly licensed to drive? When these licenses for cab companies are issued, will somebody impress upon them the need that they are required to drive at the speed limit? I'm getting sick and tired of seeing my portion of Cross Street being used as a speedway, mostly by taxi cabs. And while we're at it, untabled agenda item 12517 regarding the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in the city. If I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the city traffic laws, the speed limit on my section of Cross Street is still 20 miles per hour, as it was a school zone, and to the best of my knowledge, it has never been changed from that status. Continuing on, my favorite, handicap signs. This is what a handicap sign is supposed to look like. I have somebody in my neighborhood that has taken a handicap sign and affixed a private parking thing. Handicap signs are not designated for private parking. A handicap sign is for anybody that has a handicap plate or a handicap placard. I do have a handicap placard for my stepson. I can go up and park in front of that person's house, and they can't do a darn thing about it. Okay, lastly, will the city of Lawrence put somebody in charge of the flashing blue lights that are familiar with the vagaries of the New England weather? Quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of blue lights flashing on indefinitely when not needed. Oh, as always, I thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. We have one more speaker, Patricia Remigio, that wants to speak on the Leahy. There is a public hearing coming up very soon. Did you want to wait till that time during the public hearing, in which case he may speak?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. I don't see anybody else that's virtual with us who wishes to speak at this time. So I will now submit these addresses and names to the city clerk to add into the record. At this point, one of the public hearings, of course, that is bringing many individuals here is document number 2422. If there is no objection, I'd like to take document 2422 out of order.
So moved.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy,
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counsel Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez. Yes. Counsel Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counsel Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. We will now take document number 2422 out of order. This is a law and order for the Leahy Elementary School. At this point, clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 15th, 2022, at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence. This meeting will also be hybrid. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed loan order related to the construction of a new Leahy Elementary School. Ordered that the city hereby appropriates $102,223,416 to pay costs of constructing a new Leahy Elementary School located at 100 Irving Avenue in Lawrence, Massachusetts, including the payment of all costs related to designing the project, demolishing the existing building, equipping and furnishing the school, site improvements, and all other costs incidental and related thereto the project, which school facility shall have an anticipated useful life as an educational facility for the instruction of school children of at least 50 years, and for which the city may be eligible for a grant from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, the MSBA. Said amount to be expended under the direction of the School Building Committee, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7-1, or General Law, Chapter 70B, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the city, therefore, that the city acknowledges that the MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need, as determined by the MSBA, and any project costs the city incurs in excess of grant approval, approved by and received from the MSBA, shall be the sole responsibility of the city, that any grant that the city may receive from the MSBA for the project shall not exceed the lesser of 1/80% of the eligible approved project costs as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the total maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, and that the amount of the borrowing authorized by this order shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth in and received pursuant to the project funding agreement that may be executed between the city and the MSBA. Further ordered, that any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium apply to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of cost approved by this order in accordance with General Law, Chapter 44, Section 20 of the General Laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount. Further ordered, that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the appropriate officials of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, to qualify under General Law, Chapter 44A, any and all bonds of the city authorized to be borrowed pursuant to this loan order, and to provide such information and execute such documents as such officials of the Commonwealth may require in connection therewith. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The public hearing is now open. I will invite each speaker as they come before, once they go to the podium, that they will see a sign-in sheet for the purposes of us keeping and maintaining the individuals who are here and their address. Please just sign your name, put your name on there and your address so we can have that as part of the record. Public hearing is now open.
Patricia Montesquieu Remigio, 33 Crosby Street, Lawrence, Mass. 01843. I am a born and raised resident of this community, a mom of two, a property owner, and I've taught here in Lawrence 7 years, 4 of them being at the Up Academy Leonard. I have shared some of this information before, but I'm here to reiterate the great need for building the new Leahy. 1, students deserve a safe place to learn. Just in the most recent snowfall, pieces of the ceiling were falling off of our century-old building. Students having to rearrange their desks and me staying away from the dripping water makes it clear that we're trying to learn and teach in unacceptable conditions. Second reason, students need space. Our classes are crowded. Many times it is a challenge to provide the services our students need. Furthermore, there's currently no space outside of where our desks are to make our classrooms rich of resources or for genuine collaborative learning. If our classrooms are the homes of our students throughout the day, they should have a place that gives them the opportunity to move more and learn more comfortably. Lastly, as a property owner, I too was wondering where the money would come from to build this school. Now, with a greater understanding of where the funds are coming from, now more than ever, we should proceed to make the new school. Regardless if property taxes were to increase, which may no longer be the case, I find that it is a worthy sacrifice and investment to make for our students and our community. Lawrence has come together for so many things in the past, and I know that we can come together again for this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. And welcome, School Committee Woman Pat Mariano. We appreciate your being here this evening.
Thank you, and I hope you like my new shirt, Just as a sideline, this is a 2008 special designed by one of the students at the Leahy School. Good evening, President LaPlante and members of the City Council. My name is Pat Mariano, 28 Ridgewood Circle. I am a member of the Lawrence School Committee representing District E and also a board member of the Lawrence Alliance for Education, and I proudly serve as a member of the Leahy School Building Committee. I have been before you many times asking that we as a community, along with the Massachusetts School Building Authority, come together to make the new Leahy School a reality. Again tonight, I am not going to talk about the physical conditions of the building. You know what they are and the need for the new school. Instead, I would like to discuss your role as counselors and the impact your vote tonight will have on generations to come. I would like to introduce you to some former Laurentians: William White, Daniel Mahoney, Peter Carr, Edward Callahan, John Finnegan, Michael Scanlon, and Patrick McNulty. These names may not be familiar to you right now. However, they are etched in a plaque at the entrance of the Leahy School as the mayors and city council members who voted and ensured that the Leahy School would be built. These men, 100 years ago, sat in your chairs and pondered over building the Leahy. They too were dealing with the influx of immigrants coming to Lawrence, our immigrant city, for a better life. Like you, they had no idea what the impact of their decision would be. I believe if these men were here today, they would be pleased to see that thousands of students have passed by that plaque during the past 100 years. Many have gone on to be accomplished professionals, elected officials, and productive members of this community. Now, 100 years later, you are faced with the same decision. What will history say about this council? You can etch your names on a plaque, which will speak volumes about your commitment to educating our students and preparing them for the next 100 years. We have no idea what 21-22 will bring, but tonight you can guarantee that our children will be ready. In closing, I must remind you about our beloved Captain Francis M. Leahy. On the day he was fatally shot in battle, Captain Leahy famously uttered the following instruction to his next in command that made the front pages of newspapers around the country. "Lieutenant Hanson, the command is forward. See the boys through." I believe if Captain Leahy was with us today, he would be saying, "Citizens of Lawrence, the command is forward. Let's get the new Leahy School built." The MSBA has given us until February 24th to secure funding, or we may lose that grant. I urge you to vote yes for the new Leahy School and ensure that the students will have a school they truly deserve. I appreciate and thank you for your time and consideration. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank and recognize all the members of the Leahy School staff, the Leahy School parents and families that are here tonight. I thank you very, very much for being here.
Thank you. The next speaker, please.
Good evening, President LaPlante and city councilors.
I'm sorry, I just want to recognize you, Mr. Rolo. Appreciate you coming out. I just recognize school committee member Pat Mariano, and thank you for your recent election and now your service on the school committee, and welcome. My apologies, and we look forward to your remarks.
Thank you. Lenin Roa, 36 Columbus Avenue in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Councilors, I got here in 2013, and I got here as a homeless person. I was in the streets with my son at the time and my wife. We slept out of the car. This city gave me the opportunity to be who I am today. Have I not been here and dealt with the people that helped me to get to where I am? Maybe in another city I would not have prospered and be who I am today. In 2 years, I was able to secure a home owned by me. By 2016, I was already a homeowner here in the city of Lawrence. I don't think this would have happened anywhere else. I'm 45 years old. I'm retired from the Navy. And I lived in 13 states, 7 countries, and 21 cities altogether, moving around with the Navy. And I'm telling you, this is the greatest city I ever lived in, okay? And I just wanted to make sure before I do what I'm about to do, that you guys know what my story or part of it was. And the reason why I'm here today is because I care about the city and I care about my kids. I have 3 kids in the Lawrence public schools right now going to it, and I believe that the right decision for you guys to make will be accepting the responsibility through you to get the loan necessary to secure funds for this project. Having said that, I want to say good evening again. Today, as we know, there are many projects of affordable housing being constructed in the city of Lawrence. This is creating a necessity to look into creating more spaces of instructions for our kids. The project of the Leahy School will be a great asset to our community, and I will ask you to please consider the approval of the acquisition of the loan to secure funding for this necessary project. I would like to thank you for your consideration and taking this time to listen to us, the community that you serve of the city of Lawrence. Having said that, thank you very much. Thank you for all you guys being here today, and may God bless you guys. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, honorable members. Tonight, as a
Mr.
citizen,
Malik.
we are proud.
Write your name on there, if you don't mind. Thank you.
We are proud as a citizen that you are here to commit that historical vote, the vote that make any Laurentian proud of you. We are grateful you are be our counselor, and tonight vote yes. Children of our city, never forget the new generation that your vote tonight. In the worst pandemic of the century, as we, the parent and citizen, are proud with the help of impeccable leadership of Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris and our wonderful teacher and the nurses and the paraprofessional. We deserve, in this darkest pandemic of the century, to have a Leahy Clinic, a new school for the new generation, for tomorrow of the Lawrence. We are proud to ask you, as this immigrant city, we need this school, Leahy Clinic, to be a great home for rising the new generation, the new bright generation for our children, our wonderful staff and the teachers. They are so proud and so working so hard at Leahy Clinic, deserve to have that revolutionary vote. We must remember our hard-working Lawrence Public School paraprofessional and the nurses. Tonight we are united to ask you with one voice, please vote yes to Leahy Clinic. Our message tonight as a Lawrence, we are united and strong. To all the sad days and sickness, death, we will rise up again, offering the new generation, the new Leahy Clinic. Children with wonderful school, the best teachers and best possibility for building a new future. Honorable members, thank you for making history tonight and voting yes to wonderful future for our children, Leahy School, and our teachers in our city who listens to our Laurentian. We always strong. Thank you for vote of yes to Leahy School. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. The next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Trisha Antelek. I work at the Lawrence School, at the Leahy School, but I don't live in Lawrence. My name's Trisha Antelek, and I am a teacher at the Leahy School. I've worked there for 16 years. The big buzzword in education is equity. Educational equity means that each child receives what they need to develop to their full academic and social potential. Well, unfortunately, our students at the Leahy School do not have what they need to develop to their full potential. What they have is a 100-year-old crumbling building, a building with a roof that no longer protects them from the weather. It literally rains inside the classrooms and the hallways. The heating boiler doesn't work properly, and we have leaking pipes throughout the building. This winter, significant amounts of steam has been bellowing out of the pipes throughout the school. Steam that comes from heating pipes where the floor is so hot in a classroom that it bursts a thermometer. The steam clouds also come from sewage pipes. There was also so much steam a few weekends ago that it set off the fire alarms and the fire department had to come. Equity. The elevator stops in between floors, trapping teachers and custodians. The glass panes in the classroom doors are not shatterproof, which can and has caused injury. Our students do not have a gym. There is no space at all for inside physical education or play. Our students deserve a gym. The cafeteria is very small, and the kitchen is a tiny galley with little room to prepare and serve over 400 lunches. Equity. Our classrooms are tiny. The EL teachers and special ed teachers have to share rooms. 10 or more kids on each side of the room with only a whiteboard on wheels that serves as a partition. Our old library in the basement houses 4 teachers, 4. 1 special education teacher, 2 reading interventionists, and 1 EL teacher. These teachers each take 6 kids at a time while all teaching different lessons. These are kids who need extra help in a small group, yet they're cramped together with distractions all around them. And that's because we have no space. We have no space to offer our BCBA, OT, PT, and speech. Despite the deficit shared, we are truly a Leahy family. And clearly nothing can stop all the amazing things we continue to achieve. We continue to step up for our students and make the best of the walls that surround us. We know you will do the right thing and fund the new Leahy School that will benefit the students and the entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. My name is Juana Espinosa. I reside on 47 Adams Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts. I am the guidance counselor for the Leahy School. I have worked at the Leahy School for 21 years. My daughter attended Leahy School 24 years ago. Now she's the guidance counselor, she's the school psychologist at the South Lawrence East. We are, as a school, providing the support and the education that our generation needs here at the school. So I'm here to let you know that my dedication and commitment to our students and our family at the Leahy School continue. We need a school that will meet all the needs of our students. As a counselor, my office is in the elevator, and the other counselor there, where there's no privacy for the student that I serve and for the family that I work with. Despite what is happening, we are truly a family, like my coworker just said. We need a new school at the Leahy. And I'm not here only for the staff, I'm here for the family and the student that I have committed to serve here in Lawrence for the past 25 years. For the past 21 years. So with that said, my plea to each one of you is to please vote yes to build a new school. The Leahy student and the family of the Leahy need you to support us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Driscoll. I'm a resident of North Andover, Massachusetts, but I'm a teacher here in Lawrence. I've been a teacher here in Lawrence, Massachusetts for 27 years. All 27 I've spent at the Leahy School. I could stand up here and talk all night about the deficits that I see in the Leahy building through the eyes of an adult, but I'd rather focus on what our students are seeing and saying. I want to add that what I'm going to talk about came from our own students' mouths. I'm tired of seeing yellow water drip down from the ceiling. It looks like sewer water. I don't like the flakes that fall down from the ceiling, even when the roof isn't leaking. Sometimes it gets in my hair, and I don't like it. My room smells when it rains, and it smells musty and gross. I don't like seeing the garbage barrels in the hallway, catching the water dripping from the ceiling. The water is yellow and gross. I don't like it when my teacher gets upset because the books she bought with her own money are getting ruined by the leaky roof. I don't like how the temperature in the room is different every day. Sometimes it's so hot, even with all the windows open, and other days it's so cold, I have to wear my winter coat. I wish we had a gym where we could get some exercise and play. I wish we had a playground so we could play with our friends at recess. I wish our classrooms were bigger so we could work in groups and not feel so squished. I wish we had bigger rooms so we could do science experiments. These are just some of the thoughts being expressed by our students at the Leahy. I feel we have to stand up and fight for our students because they deserve to come to a facility that is welcoming, safe, and conducive to learning. Not a school that is antiquated, unsafe, and in need of more than a Band-Aid to fix the problems. The problems run too deep for any type of quick fix. I am imploring all of you to please pass the Leahy School project tonight. I promise you will never regret investing in our city's youth. They have so much to offer and ask us for so little in return. Thank you.
The next speaker, and I will just ask that we can restrain from the applause. I know that these are very good speech comments that are being made, but if we could restrain from that, it would be appreciated. I'd like to welcome school committee member and from District F, one of the best districts in the entire city, Jonathan Guzman. Welcome, Mr. Guzman.
Why?
One of the best. I mean,
How you
there's
gonna
others.
put me like that?
You said no politics. Come on, man. You said it.
Putting me in a position like that, Mark. Trying to figure out here. Good evening, councilors. This is Jonathan Guzman, Vice Chair of the School Committee, and also representing District F. Hey, I'm gonna just tell you again why you need to vote yes on this. We must ensure that our kids get a school. Something must be done quickly, and this loan must be acquired to move forward, as we have until February 24 to respond to the MSBA. But in order to ensure that taxes do not increase over the next few years, because we as a city have taken 3 new league projects, the Oliver, the Leahy, and the police department, the city council must release the $57 million ARPA funding that is being withheld and set aside to become free cash by the end of the year. That will pay debt services without having to increase taxes over the following few years. And for this project, the school will house hundreds of students from the grades of K to 8th grade and provide the necessary facilities to accommodate the well-deserved learning our students need. We want to thank the City of Lawrence Chief Administrator and Finance Officer Mark Yanello, Chief Operation Officer Odanis Hernandez from LPS, Committee Women Mariano, Committee Men, ROA, parents, teachers, and students, our LTU that's in the House right now, and for their advocacy, and also to the Biden administration, because for making such changes at the right moment, which now under this current administration, we're able to have a second chance on building the Leahy after the question on the ballot failed. Councilor, it is time to say yes and move forward. Let's not wait another 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. If there are no other speakers, I do see that there's Jessica Andors who wishes to comment. Wait a second, I think there is one more speaker at least. 1 second, Ms. Andors.
Good evening, President LaPlante. Good evening, City Council members. My name is Kimberly Barry, and I'm the president of the Lawrence Teachers Union. I rise to speak again on behalf of the members of the Lawrence Teachers Union to voice our enthusiastic support for the new Leahy School project, an extraordinary opportunity that it offers our city and our community. We by now are all familiar with the many pressing issues that make the Leahy no longer suitable for 21st century learning. Whether it's students having to travel from one floor to another to use a restroom, or counseling classes being conducted in the elevator entrance, or pools of water falling down on students from the leaky roof above. These are just a few of the many examples, all symptoms of a building that can no longer be made suitable with basic upkeep and repairs. This project, however, represents so much more than a fix. As currently designed, it is a dramatic step forward for the city's educational infrastructure, with the potential to impact generations of Laurentians throughout their entirety of the K-8 learning experience. It will be a modern, forward-looking building, commensurate with the great work of our educators and the potential of our students and the ideals of LPS and LTU. While we recognize and deeply appreciate the significant long-term financial investment required from the city, we do also know that the long-term benefits that this investment will provide is unsurpassable. We hope that you will make this important investment and create a truly special learning space for the Leahy neighborhood. We know our families, our students, and our educators deserve it. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience this evening who wishes to speak on this matter? I will now turn to our virtual audience. The first speaker would be Jessica Andors. Ms. Andors, welcome. Name and address for the record.
Thank you, Council President. My name is Jessica Andors. I live at 3 Jackson Terrace in the city, and I am the parent of a former Leahy and current Leonard School student, as well as a member of the Lawrence Alliance for Education. I want to frame my remarks by drawing an analogy to a program that gets implemented at the organization that I run in my day job at Lawrence Community Works. We have a program there that we call individual development accounts, where city residents who are lower income can save their own earned income in special accounts, and we raise the private and public money to match their savings 3-to-1 so that they can invest in an asset for their future, home ownership or their own higher education, their children's higher education, or starting a small business. And this enables them to kind of get over the hump that they need to make that really important investment in their future and do something that is going to move their family forward. And I feel like we have an analogous opportunity in front of us here in the city. We have the opportunity to invest some of our own, earned and given income through our tax revenues and ARPA funding and so on. And we're going to get that matched by the state at a greater than 1-to-1 ratio. And we are going to have the opportunity to invest in our future. So we are taking on debt. Often people in their individual lives do take on debt when they have the opportunity to purchase something that is going to be of greater value to them. And I don't know what we could quantify as having greater value to our city than investing in the high quality education for our students and unlocking their potential to give back to the city, this community, and the society in general. So I think we have an amazing opportunity in front of us. We have to make an investment. We have a very precious and time-limited opportunity to have a match on that investment that will get us over the hump. And then we are going to see returns on that investment in the increased educational engagement and better outcomes of the children in our city. So I hope that we can collectively make the right decision to do so tonight. Thank you very much, council members and council president.
Thank you, Ms. Andors. The last virtual speaker would be Julio Mejia. Your name and address, please, sir.
Good evening, councilors. Julio Mejia, 1088 Essex Street in Lawrence. I want to thank the school committee members, president, the audience, as well as the Lawrence Teachers Union and members of the community for being here today. As we're all aware, our school infrastructure is decaying, like the Leahy School, with failing HVAC systems, leaky ceilings that breed mold, and hazardous old building materials that are disproportionately harming students of color and students with disabilities. It is critical to get this done. Decaying schools, as I said, like the Leahy School, have serious physical and psychological consequences, and we cannot continue to allow this. Every student and educator deserves a safe learning and work environment, and that is why I am here to ask for your support of the Leahy School loan order. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other members? Ms. Adonis Hernandez, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, councilors. Good evening, Council President. Odanis Hernandez, Chief Operating Officer for Lawrence Public Schools, 13 Pembroke Drive in Lawrence. I'm here tonight on behalf of Superintendent Paris, and I'm joined, as you've heard from some of them already, by members of the school committee, LAE board, LTU president, teachers, staff of both the Leahy and the Up Leonard schools, administrators, students, past and present, and families, and by our wonderful construction and architect team for this project. You were provided with a copy of the presentation with your package on January 13th, and I'm here to summarize the highlights of this project, which include the merger of the Francis M. Leahy Elementary School and the Up Leonard Middle School, which will add 1,000 seats necessary to accommodate the increase in enrollments on this side of the city. This project aligns with the district educational plan of providing continuity of the K-8 model. The item before you is approval funding of the loan order of $102 million for the Francis M. Leahy School project. The total project budget for this construction is $103 million. The MSBA voted to approve this project at their October 27, 2021 Board of Directors meeting. The MSBA approved a maximum total facilities grant of approximately $60 million. That's the commitment of the MSBA towards this project. The city has 120 days after this date of October 27th to acquire and certify local approval for an appropriation and acceptance of the cost, the site, type, the scope, and the timeline of the Francis M. Leahy Elementary School project. I'm happy to answer any questions as you move forward with this agenda item. I thank you for your time and thank you for your dedication of our future of the city of Lawrence.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Is there any other members of the public who wish to speak this evening? Hearing none, I will call the public hearing now closed. Councilors, I am now looking for a motion.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Pavel Payano to adopt the provision and seconded by the Council Vice President Estela Reyes. Discussion.
Discussion.
Start off with the author, Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. For those of you that know me know that issues around education are extremely close to my heart. I, grew up here in Lawrence, went to Lawrence Public Schools. My parents were teachers for, over 25 years. I was a school committee member, and the reason that I'm here today as a city councilor is because I wanted to ensure that our kids were receiving an excellent education. Now, one of the things that, for every time we talk about education, it might sound like a broken record to my colleagues, but what the state says is that by law, school systems are supposed to provide our youth with an adequate education. I always say, I don't go to an adequate doctor, I don't go to an adequate barber, you can't take me to an adequate mechanic. What I want is an excellent education for youth. And I think this issue speaks to that. speaks to the wants and needs of the working class people of this city. The reason why many of them, immigrants, came to this country was because they were expecting and hoping for opportunities greater than what they received in their homeland. That's what they're looking for. And what we're talking about here, not to go into the details of the deplorable, unsafe conditions at that school, what we're talking about is an issue of equity. We're talking also about an issue of justice, that at the moment the rights of these youth, the rights of these families, in my opinion, are being violated, because it is insane for us to think that students would be able to receive an excellent education, never mind an adequate education, when they are talking about flakes falling down from the ceilings, boiling temperatures, and the type of conditions that you wouldn't expect to find in a country as rich and powerful as ours. But we're finding it right now in Lawrence. And what I'll say is I sit before hopeful that my colleagues support this measure, especially since no tax increases will be found. But I will say that I was supportive of this last year when we were talking about tax increases. But as hopeful as I am, I will say I'm also angry. I am very, very angry because I see this not as an investment. I see this as back pay. When I was in the school committee, what I talked about before coming in here is that in those 7 years that I was on there, the city refused to pay their due, what was required by Chapter 70 law, and they ended up owing LPS over $20 million. So generations upon generations of youth have come out of LPS, and not until recently has the city really stepped up to ensure that not only are they providing for Chapter 70, but they're actually taking on the responsibilities as being a landlord to these buildings. We talk about 100 years. I will tell you that I think if the city decades ago started investing in our schools, the Leahy wouldn't be in the situation where it is now. I mean, we still would have to build the schools, but it wouldn't be literally ceilings falling down. I was at the verge of tears when I heard, this was last year, a youth that must have been like 10, 11 years old, talking about how he was walking the line and the ceilings fell down. So I think about it, I'm like, how are these kids living in this, going to school in this unsafe environment? I think we could do more. I think our city owes it to not just this generation of students that are currently going to school there, but the many generations to come. And I hope that this is something that we learn from, and that we continue to invest in our school buildings. Now, the other piece that I would be remiss to not talk about is how we got here in the first place. I think for decades, our city leaders haven't really been strategic about about some of the decisions that they make. For decades, we have said yes to new development in the downtown area. Now, nothing wrong with new development, right? We say yes to when someone wants to build 20 units, 50 units, 100 units, 500 units, 1,000 units. We say yes to all that, even though it's, many times it's converting what used to be businesses, converting it into housing. Now, again, my issue is not necessarily with that. My issue is that in the past has never been a strategy to talk about the impact that it would have on the services that the schools, that the city provide. Services like public safety, services like education. So when we have hundreds, thousands of units that are coming in to these neighborhoods, the city should have started planning back then the building of new schools. 5 years ago, before I came here as a city councilor, what the school committee was talking about was that there was a need of building 5 schools in the next 6 to 7 years. What we're talking about 5 years later is building school number 2. And it is, I would say at times it is frustrating at the speed that we move, because if 5 years ago we needed 5 new schools and now we're at 2, I'm worried that there will be other schools that will be falling into this state or that are already there. So I would ask our council members to vote in favor of this motion. I think, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. I think that I applaud the mayor of finding a way to hopefully getting this school built with, if the issue was taxes, now no taxes will be increased. So I applaud the mayor's administration to making sure that happens. And I will then say that I hope that ourselves and the administration and Lawrence Public Schools continue to look into the situation of the right now. Because what we're talking about is solving an issue 2 years from now. Our kids are currently living in that state. And I think something needs to be done. Something needs to be done now to make sure that that's not the case. I can't see a kid going to school in that situation. If my child was going to school at the Leahy, I would have sued the city a long time ago for a better system. So I ask our council members today, please vote in favor. I'd love to see this be a unanimous vote. I also want to thank everyone who came here to speak and has been coming to this chamber for over the course of a year to support these efforts, especially all the school committee members that came here today. Thank you, Council President, for the time.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Councilor Rodriguez, followed by Councilor De La Cruz, followed by the Council Vice President.
Thank you, Thank you, Council President. Through you, I would like to, I'm glad that we have this topic today because since last year, we started the conversation about having the Leahy School being built. Last year, during the election season, we have a question on the Valley requesting the voters to allow the City Council to go ahead and take these loan appropriation. They say no because they were scared of getting tax increasement. I'm glad that we, as a city, find a way, thanks to the federal government, and the current administration, deciding to use these funds of the ARPA funds to build this new school. The concern that I have from the beginning, after the November 2nd election, and the public on the border saying no to the school, it was how are we gonna build the school? Since they were scared to have any tax increasement, and this is not the case, I'm glad that we're going to be able to build the school with no tax increasement to the borders of the city of Lawrence. I vote yes on this question on November 2nd because I believe that we need a new school. And me voting yes on that question personally, I was able to say that the most important thing in the city is our education system. We invest about 74% of the budget on our education system, which means that most of the budget in the city of Lawrence goes towards our education. We need result, and we are building the new system perhaps by building new schools. But accountability is in both ways. We would like everybody that was here today that commit to those kids' education. They are already committed, but we need more. And yes, most of us, I believe, I haven't heard anybody that's going to vote no, but who knows, are going to vote yes on this matter, hopefully. And I wish that it's a 9-0 vote, so we can send a message to everybody up there that yes, we're not increasing taxes if we compromised to the project and we compromise to the schedule that is in front of us, that is for the next 9 years. We're going to be using free cash or super rapid cash from our reserve, and that's going to cost us, the city of Lawrence, from money that was supposed to be for economic recovery, about $26 million. But yes, we are happy. I'm personally happy that this is happening. As far as we commit to the schedule of investing the fund and not increasing the taxes, I'm committed to saying yes. And I'm going to say yes tonight because it's important that we as a community understand that the value of education have no price. And with that said, thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Counselor. The next speaker is Counselor De La Cruz, followed by Counselor, the Vice President Stella Reyes, and then Counselor Anna Levy. Counselor De La Cruz.
Thank you, Council President. It is a great opportunity tonight to be able to say yes to a beautiful vote that is going to be the Leahy School. And I would like to acknowledge that about 22 years ago, I came to this city, and the Leahy School was the school open at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 9 p.m., to have parents meeting to be able to build the new high school. That was the support that the city got from a lady that she has been working so hard for that school. I would like to ask a question to Odani. Odani? One of Ms. Mariano's students asked me if the library, the new library at the new Leahy School building, could be named after Ms. Mariano. He asked me that. That kid is my godchild, one of my good kids in the city. And I say, I'm going to try, because I haven't seen a lady so dedicated to a community with a new culture that I don't think Ms. Mariano speaks Spanish, but she has been so committed to those rice and beans. She understands what rice and beans it is. You don't need to speak 2 languages to be a bilingual person. Ms. Mariano has been the most amazing example of what bilingual means to be. A person who doesn't speak the language, but she has the feeling, she has the sentiments, she has the love for the community, she has the dedication, and it would be unfair not to have her name posted in that building, because every child needs a mother. And Ms. Mariano was a mother to my godchild when he came to this city, knowing no English, the mother not knowing anything about parents' engagement, and Ms. Mariano having those parents meeting with coffee, donuts, breakfast, and all of that. And I'm a witness of that when I came to this city 20 years ago. At the same time, I would like to say thank you to the mayor, because no taxes. That was one of my bigger concerns, because if they increase $125 to the families that are going through COVID problems, every household has been going through COVID, and they know that one more increase, it will harm a lot of people. A lot of household is only one parent working. We have a lot of single parents. We have a lot of families that only one person is working up to now, after 2 years of COVID. Then we would like to say thank you to the mayor for doing that. And at the same time, I understand that we are one of the luckiest cities in the world that we don't have to pay a lot of taxes, that we don't have to pay a lot. But we also are a community of people that are starting to become homeowners, people who are becoming to move forward after they move to this city. Then Ms. Odanis, we would like to wait for an answer from you, because I want to go back with an answer to my godchild.
Sure. I am happy to bring this item to the school building committee to recommend and move forward with your recommendation to have either the library or another office space or another space in the new Francis M. Leahy School building be named after Patricia Mariano.
And the great thing is that she's alive. We recognize, yes, we recognize the Mr. Leahy, the person that was named after the school, because I did my study with the historical department. He died for this city, that we had to keep that name, but we also wanted to add a lady at this point, and that has to be Ms. Mariano. Thank you, and my vote will be yes.
Thank you, Counselor.
Councilor Maria, through you, Council President, do you want to make that as a motion? Because that's how we, that's
I
how it
want,
works.
yes, I want to make that as a motion for Ms. Paz Mariano's.
That motion would not be in order. It's not a binding resolution by any stretch. I think that Ms. Hernandez did take the comment. I think she understands the sentiment. I think that she will bring that forward. That is not that's not a request that we, at this point. At this point, I also look to Councilor Anna Levy. Councilor Levy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, everybody that is been present over there. And maybe I'm repeating what some of my my fellow councilors have been saying right now, but like I said before, we should support this project because our children deserve the better and a much better place to go for education. I just supported this project before and I'm continuing supporting this. Not just only this project, any project that is related to any school that our children need is going to be supported by me with taxes or without taxes increase. We as a city should start investing, and like that's part of what we have been doing. So right now we have 2 projects that is going on, the 2 schools. We should start investing and be confident, you know, that bring to the best to our children. Why not? Why not? I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you, all of you who supported this project now and before. Before, because we know, like it's Councilor Rodriguez wrote it, that's, yeah? So Councilor Rodriguez wrote it that we put it as something at the last election, that we should vote to increase the taxes over the 2.5. And I'm sorry, I vote no. I voted no because I knew that we were able to find the way on this school any increased taxes. And I said that before, and I'm so glad, and I'm thank you God that we were able to do it. So thank you to all that is supporting this project. We continue to go ahead and getting the best for our children. Our children deserve the best education, not just only here, but at any place that they go or any place.
Thank you, Councilor. We appreciate your comments. The next Councilor is Councilor Infante. Councilor.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to say thank you to everyone that is here tonight and those who spoke on behalf of the Leahy, the staff, the students, and the community. I have been in support of the Leahy since day one. And one thing I do want to mention is I just, hearing the statements from our students, and I want to thank that teacher for bringing in those statements, really touched my heart. And I don't understand how our school department and our city have not been held accountable for the many years of severe neglect of a building. I am, like I said, I am a proud supporter of this. What I don't want to see is the city and our school system not being held accountable to keeping up with a new school. We should not, things like glass are fixable. We shouldn't have to wait so long to fix these issues. And if we maintain our schools and if we use the 74% of 74% of our budget goes to our school systems. All these severe issues, I'm sure some of them could have been fixed and dealt with sooner. And that's one thing that I ask, that we hold our city and our school department accountable to maintain our schools, if we're especially if we're investing so much money to rebuild for our kids.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there any other, I see Counselor Selena Reyes and then Counselor Del Rosario. Counselor Selena Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wow, I'm so happy today because I supported this project through the day one, or before the day one. I'm representing early childhood education because I have my own family child care and home. So education is my passion, the best thing we need to working together to moving forward our community. And also I want to say hi to my beautiful teacher, Eto, is there. And I'm so happy to be here tonight and support this in progress for the Lehi because we need to moving forward our community. We need to protect our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Del Rosario.
Thank you, President LaPlante. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I ran for city council for 3 times, and this is my first time that I get elected. And I always wanted to be part of making a big decision that I will go out proud. I came into meetings and said, just watching and said, how they didn't vote on this, or how they didn't vote on that. And I had like a sour taste to my mouth going home. And I said, if I go to the city council, I want to sometime make a decision that I go home and I can hug my kids and say, you know what? Your dad did something good today, and feel proud about it. I mean, my kids go to public school too. I went to public school. I actually had the pleasure to go to school with Danny. We went to programs, and I never thought that the school could be so neglected. To be honest, I haven't been in the Lehi school. I did not support the question due to the fact that the way the question was reading, it was misleading to the people. It wasn't like when they first brought this project back to us here, I asked the question, what was the difference then and now? And they explained it to me. But when I was asking the question before, nobody had an answer for it, or how much they're going to raise on taxes, or what. So that's why I voted no. But it wasn't because I was against education, because my kid go to school here. I went to school here. But tonight I think I'm going to go home, and it doesn't matter the time that we get out of here, and I'm going to go home feeling some type of proud of being from Lawrence and being part of this big decision that we're going to make today. I hope we're going to make the big decision today. So, again, I always wanted to be part of the city council to make a big decision and be part of it. And tonight, we'll be able to do that and make history. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you, Counselors. Are there any other counselors? Counselor Vice President Reyes.
Thank you, Councilor President. They always say that they keep the best for last. And I raised my hand. I was supposed to be the third one, actually, and I passed my time to the other colleagues. But I want to take this time first to thank our Mayor, Brian De Peña, for making this possible. I know that last year was a lot of contradiction, just back and forth with the question. And I want to tell you right in front of you that even though the question was misexplained, it was brought in a different direction, I say yes. And I encourage many others to say yes, forgetting about the taxes, but yes, the great needs of that school. And I am happy because this has happened. Councilor Payano was saying that 5 years ago, there was mentioned just about 5 schools. And 2 of them is going to be on my district. So something is working in District B, and I can see what it is. When you come together, we can hear. But I didn't hear any statement, I didn't hear any complaint, because I know the building has been neglected for a long time. I know this is not happened 5 years ago. That condition has been on for years, for decades. And our children's, and yes, the parents, are being paying the consequences, because how do you feel when your children go back home and complain about something that you have no control? But one thing that I can tell you, and you can bring this back to others, is that when you get together and try to do something in the right way, and even though you feel like you might gonna fall, just continue pushing. Another thing that I also want to mention to Mrs. Hernandez is that, yes, I would like, obviously, we're not gonna change Leahy Franklin School, but some room, some office dedicated to Mrs. Mariano. She was the first one contacted me. And through Facebook, phone calls, and every single person that she knew that was getting on me, that she sent me a message. So keep up the good work. I say yes from the day one, and I'm happy not because this is going to happen on my district, but yes, for our children's. Thank you very much. And yes, and if my vote would count 10 times, I tell you that I will say yes 10 times. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. At this point, are there any other members who wish to speak? Counselor Rodriguez, and we'll have a vote here shortly.
Information that it was Jesus. Essentially, what I was saying is that I was looking through the records that we have on the package, and there was an email sent by Claudia Hoyos on behalf of our Mayor Brian De Peña on regard to the ARPA funding for the Leahy School project. I'm forwarding this. Every councilor received that email, but our city clerk was not included on that email, so I'm going to forward that. That way, this email and the 4 pages, 3 that are for the explanation of how we're going to fund it, and one of that is the schedule of the debt services as of how we're going to be funding the school. So I'm going to forward that email to our clerk so she can have that as part of the record. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Counselor. Seeing no other members wishing to speak on this matter, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Should I say 10 times?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Congratulations. Is there a motion to recess? Motion made by Councilor Payano, seconded by the Vice President.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Claro.
Councilors, we're going to look to come back out of recess. If members of the audience wish to continue with the celebration, they may do so outside of the council chambers. I am now looking for a motion to come out of recess. Is there a motion?
moved.
Motion made by Councilor Piano.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion, hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes. Counselor Piano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, we are now out of recess. Councilors, we're going back up to document 28121. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. This meeting will also be hybrid. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinance creating the position of confidential secretary in the Department of Health and Human Services. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 2.190 of the Municipal Code, Department of Health and Human Services, 2.190.040, Confidential Secretary. A, office established. There is established the Department of Health and Human Services, a confidential secretary appointed by the mayor, who shall report directly to the Director of Health and Human Services. B, duties. Under the direction of the Director of Health and Human Services, the confidential secretary shall perform a variety of confidential senior-level secretarial duties to support the operation of the Department of Health and Human Services. C, qualifications. Requires a high school diploma or equivalent and 3 to 5 years progressively responsible experience in administrative or secretarial work, or an equivalent combination of education and experience. D, salary and benefits. The salary for the confidential secretary shall be at the Bennett and Associates Compensation Plan, non-union, non-exempt, grade level 3. The confidential secretary shall be entitled to receive all benefits provided to non-union employees regularly employed in the administrative service of the city. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you, Clerk. The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Approved by Councilor Piano, seconded
Question.
by Vice President. Discussion? Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes. Thank you, Council President. My concern in the qualification is that this person with a high school diploma, she has to report to the Human Health Services. What is the experience that this person needs to have? Because we only a high school diploma, and she's going to be doing, that person is going to be doing Human Health Services for the health department, you know. What is the kind of job that she's going to do? that is only required a high school diploma.
If there's no one from the administration here to help answer that question, Councilor Payano, did you wish to add some thoughts on that?
Thank you, Council President. I hope that I'll be able to answer Councilor De La Cruz's question. But full council weeks ago. So the individual qualifications, what it says is that progressively responsible experience doing administrative or secretarial work. Of over the experience that's needed. This role is primarily level secretarial duties, so 3 to 5 years of progressive experience doing.
Councilor De La Cruz?
Still, my concern is that how do we know that this person is coming with all of those background that we are requiring, or will this person be selected from already the job that is being done?
Councilor, we are creating an ordinance. We're not selecting an individual. So this is all about creating the requirements for a job. Who is selected?
But when they say
at a
a
different level.
confidential secretary, that means we're getting somebody coming from the high school. I wish that we could have a job for all the kids from the high school, but it is a confidential. It is somebody who is going to, that needs the experience of a lot of confidentiality. Then when it says high school, it struck me out because I'm not saying that high school kids are not responsible. No, that's not my point. My point is that this person needs to have experience. And if you're coming out of high school, you don't have that experience.
I see that the Budget and Finance Director and Capital, Mr. Ianello, has joined us perhaps to comment.
Yeah, I can just add a little bit to what the position is about. I believe this is the confidential secretary for HHS Director Martha Velez, and this position, she needs an assistant. There's a lot of work that she passes off, and it's an elevated amount of, it's a level of work that's elevated versus a clerical position. So she's looking for a confidential secretary's pay, which is a little higher because of all the work that she really needs done. So this was at the request of Martha Velez.
Yes, but I remember we gave a recommendation that she would pick somebody who already has the experience and has the confidentiality, and now we hope that before we do the ordinance, that is in place, because it scares me that we get somebody with no experience, with no knowledge of what's going on.
Well, I'm fairly certain that this position, when it's open, or if it's approved and then filled, and when it's open again, it will definitely be a higher level of pay. So it's going to require higher level of work and a higher expectation. So, the position is for someone at Martha's level of director, having a confidential secretary is quite necessary because they deal with a lot of issues. And so I think this position is warranted, and certainly if Martha were here, she could explain it a little more. But it is definitely warranted by it's a request of the HHS director, and the mayor has approved it, and that's why it's before the city council to try and get that position upgraded.
Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you. Any other councilors who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, there is a motion on the floor, and it's been properly seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 331. Clerk, this is handicap parking at 7C7 Shawshene Road. Please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 15, 2022 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting at the Lawrence City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. And this meeting will also be hybrid. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, Handicap Parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Abbott Street, north side, from 20 feet west of the intersection of Shawshene Road to a point 40 feet west of the intersection on Shawshene Road. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you, Clerk. The public hearing is now open. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Got made by Councilor Vice President, seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion? Hearing none, Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 522. Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 15, 2022 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. This meeting will also be hybrid. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinance creating the position of Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 2.12 of the Municipal Code, Office of the Mayor. 2.12.100 Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs. A, office established. There is established the Mayor's Office, a Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs who shall serve at the pleasure of the Mayor. B, duties under the direction of the Mayor. Employee serves as a Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs on a wide variety of community project, operational, and political issues pertinent to the city. The Senior Advisor assists the Mayor in overseeing all aspects of executive office operations, including the identification of policy needs, development and execution of policy initiatives, building and management of coalitions in support of legislative initiatives, and other issues that may arise. Also plays a critical role in assisting the Mayor's leadership team in ensuring the legislative business of the city is running smoothly and in compliance with all relevant local, state, and federal guidelines and legislation. This position also serves as a primary liaison with the State House, federal agencies, and other local government officials on projects affecting City of Lawrence initiatives. Will perform duties associated with the management and distribution of all state and federal funds in compliance with state and federal law and regulations. C, qualifications. Requires a college degree or equivalent. 10 years of progressive relevant experience required in positions involving government affairs, policymaking, and budget management. Equivalent combination of relevant education experience may substitute for requirements listed. D, salary and benefits. The salary for the Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs shall be at the Bennett and Associates Compensation Plan, non-union, exempt, grade level 9. The Senior Advisor of Policy and External Affairs shall be entitled to receive all benefits provided to non-union employees regularly employed in the administrative service of the city. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed, and in that respect only, persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you, Clerk. The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? And if you do, please write your name on that piece of paper that's there, please.
There's no paper there.
Someone took the paper. How did that happen? Okay?
Well, the name's Rich Russell. I live at 34 Cross Street. I have two questions. A, is this position absolutely necessary? And B, the second question is, how has Lawrence existed for 170-plus years without a position of this magnitude? Thank you.
Anybody else who wishes to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Piano. Discussion? Councilor Rodriguez.
I said,
I'm sorry, Councilor Chide Frazes, Councilor De La Cruz, and then Councilor Rodriguez.
thank you, Council President. I would like Mr. Ayanello to please come. I have some question about this position. This person is going to work with the city, is going to work with the state, is going to work with out of state.
I believe it's a grade 9. I don't have the salary in front of me, but
The green line is 120? 120? Or more? More than that? Yes.
Maximum amount is apparently $120,000, and apparently Mr. Piano is giving you the salary
120.
range.
Isn't this salary higher than the major salary?
yeah, there's quite a few people that make more than the mayor.
Is position paid with ARP money, with,
It could, but I believe we're creating the position, and I believe it will be funded in the general fund of the city. It could be back funded with grant funds if they work on grants. But I think the intention is to take it out of make it part of the mayor's budget.
like one person was saying, do we need this position now that we have a lot of workers that their salary hasn't been increased? We, the city councilor, salary hasn't been increased for, I've been here for 4 years, my salary hasn't been increased, and this position is going to be higher than the mayor position, because this person will have to go out of state and even to the federal legislation to do the job. I think it's a lot of the taxpayer money that is going to be invested in this. And with that salary, we can pay to 3 people, and it will be a good salary as well.
Well, I think I'll let the mayor's office explain what this position is for and how it will help the mayor. But if the mayor is to be successful, he does need to surround himself with people who can help him be successful. And I think that's the general idea behind this position. But I'll defer to the mayor's office if Frank can come up or someone can explain it a little better. I'm just explaining just the financial end of it. So I'm not the best person to talk about what the position is going to actually do.
But if this person is going to be there for 4 years, $120,000, it's a lot of the taxpayer money that we're paying just for the person who's going to be an advisor. I understand that this person is going to know a lot of policies and a lot of external affairs, but we have so much need in this community that invests so much money in that kind of position. It is not fair to the taxpayer.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Council President, through you, I would like to make a motion to change the qualification of the position that requires a bachelor's degree as a minimum requirement.
Instead of college degree.
I mean, I'm making a motion to change it to a bachelor's degree. That's my motion.
So there's the public hearing is clearly over. We're having discussion. The motion to approve is made by, I believe, was Counselor. Who made the motion to approve? Counselor Estela Reyes. So are you looking to make an amendment strictly on that, or are you looking for a friendly amendment?
This is not a friendly amendment. This is a motion by itself.
So there is an amendment, because the only thing
This is a motion by itself to change the qualification, not an amendment. No, I'm not offering an amendment. I'm offering a motion on top of the previous motion, which is in order.
That is not in order. There's currently already a motion before the council. It is
in order, according to our rules.
It is available to make an amendment of the motion. That would be in order if you wish to make a friendly amendment or if you wish to get a second on that.
We're not going to get into an argument about Robert rules. On the Robert rules, it says that you can put a motion on top of the motion, and it is in order. If I make a motion to table right now, it's also in order. And that's a motion on top of the motion. Simple explanation. This is not a friendly amendment. This is to continue with the discussion.
So the ruling of the chair is that that motion is not in order. Councilor Rodriguez, you relinquish the floor. Is there anything else you wish to add?
Yes, sir. That's my next, that I would like to be recognized.
The member has now issued a charter objection, which states that the discussion at this point is now frozen until our next full city council meeting. On to committee reports. First item under Budget and Finance Committee reports is document number 15221. Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on February 9th, and we voted unanimously to send item 152-21, order to expend grant funds, coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds, $57,251,845 to the full council with a federal recommendation.
Motion's been made by the chair, seconded by the vice president. Discussion. Councilor Rodriguez.
Essentially, this item 15221 is the $57 million, $351,845 that the intention of these funds is for economic recovery. Since Lawrence were in a position that in a horrible position a few years ago, and we have so much lost in revenue, now we'll be able to utilize the portion of the law that allow us to have these as a recovery fund and have no restrictions on these $57 million. It is neither in some aspect, because we just vote in favor of funding the Leahy School, and the intention of that vote was to use non-restricted funds, and this is the funds that we're going to be using for the Leahy School. I would like to make sure that I'm going on record that the intention of this, the reminding of these funds, is to be used not for funding salaries, like we're going to be talking about in the next few items, that is going to be out of the free cash, but instead that is going to be towards the economic recovery, the economic recovery that we so much in need in the city of Lawrence. The intention of the federal government is to spend this money. If we don't take a vote tonight, is to spend this money by 2026, which give us only 4 years to spend these funds. But the intention mainly is to have projects that are going to be so quick and so fast that the economic recovery going to come one way or another, because all the funds need to be spent. Otherwise, the situation in the city and the money going to go back to the federal government. By us, I'm restricting these funds. We're going to have these as a free cash forever. And it's going to be up to the mayor to have, and obviously with a vote of the city council, to have project that is going to impact the economy and the economic recovery that we much are needed. With that said, I believe that having an overseen from the city council for every time that we spend money out of that account have to have some type of impact on the economy and our local economy. After we fund those 3 projects out of free cash, assuming that we take a vote tonight and vote yes on unrestricting these funds and subtracting those 3 projects that we're going to have in the near future, it's going to be about $52 million in total that we're going to have unrestricted fund for the city of Lawrence. I just want to make sure that we all understand and compromise, and the people up there knows that we as a city have funds, but the main objective of those funds are to have a great economy that actually help us invest on our next generations and the city in general change for the best. This is a great amount of money that we never had before. And I think that understanding that the main objective of those funds gonna help the city tremendously. I'm gonna take a vote tonight that is gonna affect or benefit the city of Lawrence in the next, for quite some time. And with that in mind, I wanna make sure that when the mayor or any mayor that's sent to spend funds out of that account have some type of impact on our local economy. With that said, thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other, Councilor De La Cruz?
I have a concern on how we are going to use that amount of money. I understand that we have to make an impact on how we're going to distribute the money to make a difference in, or to help out a small business. I hope all of this money, $57 million, doesn't go just to help the business. We have different organizations in the community that will make a difference if we use that money accordingly. For example, we have the Adult Learning Center, which is a building that is falling apart. Are we waiting for an accident for that building to be restored? Because that building is collapsing one of these days. Then are we investing in that place? We would like to see kids from the community working, making the building better, but that money that they're learning skills, they don't have to go to college if they don't want to, but that they can learn skills while they learning how to become a constructor or whatever. and then making a difference. We have a lot of buildings like that in this community, not only the schools, we also have to make an impact in the community to see the difference. Then, are we communicating with the Stephanie, your school, with the Greater Lawrence Technical School to bring jobs that we can teach our kids about the 21st century? Are we preparing our kids to become the new renewable energy that we're going to have an impact in a couple of years? A lot of people are putting solar panels, but what did they know about it? Are our kids benefiting or learning how to install solar panels, how to make those panels? Then I think it is a great opportunity to take advantages of creating those kinds of programs that will help our community, especially those kids that doesn't want to go to college. Then if we don't have a plan in place, how come we are making all of these changes? We have cultural programs that are helping the mental health of our kids in the communities. For example, Beyond Soccer is been struggling to have a court in the city. It has been struggling to have kids participating because families, they don't have the money for them to be able to pay the tuition. Then what are we doing to help them out? The historical department, they need so much help. We are celebrating the 100-year celebration of the Italian festival. What are we doing to be able to take part of that money and to invest it in the community with an educational plan? Because we have a lot of kids with no high school in the city. We have a lot of kids with no skills. This is a great opportunity to take advantage and to invest in those people that we can move them forward for them to make a difference in the community. If we take that money to pay salaries for the workers in this city, let me tell you, we're going to go back 20 years ago. We have to start making changes, investing in the people, because the people are the one making the changes. Like somebody was saying, I was homeless, but now I have a house. Then if we don't have a plan to teach, to make a difference, we are not going to move this city forward. Then I'm very concerned that I don't see a plan here to invest $57 million. And I don't want to see it, I don't want to see that money being given as a salary for people coming to work. Okay, we have to pay a fair share to everybody, but what are the plans? We as city councilor, nobody has asked me, how do you think that $57 million should be invested? Then the recovery plan should be a plan, and we city councilors should be into it because we are part of the decision-making of the ordinance and the changes that we are making. Then I hope, Council President, that we can send a letter to the mayor explaining to him that we want to be part of the changes and the progression and the future of this city by working together on a plan, in a long-term plan, maybe 5 years, 6 years. It's going to take us a lot of time to make a difference, but we wanted to invest now in those people who are, a lot of people went back to work to Walmart because they have no other choice. But what about if we help those kids to become, to get a high school diploma, learn English, and then get another tool that they can be an electrician? What are we doing to invest in the green jobs for the city, for the community, for the world? Then
Thank you, Councilor
I hope we can do something about it.
Thank you, Councilor.
Ms. Anna, can you step up, please? And I'm sorry, thank you, Council President. I'm confused right now because we took a vote to approve the Leahy project, right? And I think we were in a conversation and we got emails and proposal from you stating that this $57 million was going to support the 3 constructions that we have going on, which is the Arlington School, the Oliver School, the new police station, and also the new Leahy School that we're trying to. So I'm a little confused if I missed the ball. So it won't be at the end of the everything. It's not going to be $57 million. So we will have around, according to some of us Some of my colleagues maybe missed the meeting with you. So at the end of your presentation, you said we might have $30-something million in the bank, and we would use it to what the city needs. And every time the mayor need, or the mayor, or every proposal, you have to come down here and ask for us for approval. So can you add to that? Because I'm a little
If I
confused
could
right
just
now.
recap, I think I think that was explained somewhat in the memo, the 3-page memo that was sent to all the counselors. We tried to explain the process, but if I could just recap it real briefly for everyone. In essence, the coronavirus local recovery funds, or ARPA as we're referring to, we have $57.3 million, and that $57.3 million comes with a lot of strings attached from the U.S. Treasury. One of the in the Treasury legislation, it allows a community to use some of this ARPA funds to replace a revenue loss if it had a revenue loss as determined by the U.S. Treasury regulations. In the city of Lawrence's case, our revenue loss happens to exceed the entire $57.3 million in ARPA funds. And that's mainly because of the Columbia gas crisis in 2018. It was settled in 2019, which is the year before the coronavirus hit. So comparing the revenues from the year before coronavirus to when coronavirus hit, we show, we lost, and actually the calculation, it's actually $82.6 million. So all of our $57.3 million can be spent in accordance with the U.S. Treasury as a revenue loss, which is defined as anything that the general government normally expends. So meaning it's pretty much unrestricted. So one of the things I plan on doing with is before this fiscal year ends, I'm going to be able to transfer expenses from the general fund to the coronavirus relief fund, which is a separate account that we'll set up now that the council if the council approves it, and I'll transfer those expenses to the coronavirus local relief funds, and then what'll happen is those expenditures in the general fund will be reduced, and we will have money go into our free cash at the end of the year. So in essence, all of this $57.3 million will be turned into free cash. And for us to use free cash, as we have an item tonight, we have to come to the council to expend that free cash and get your approval. So that's exactly how all of these ARPA funds will end up the exact same way. We'll be coming back down to the council and asking to approve it. One of the things you approved tonight is the Leahy School. We also need the Oliver School and the police station. If you recall, when those loans were approved, I indicated to the council in my CAFO certification that the city may have to use free cash or use some of its excess tax levy capacity to pay for the Oliver School and the police station. And then it would be the same thing to the Leahy School. But now that we have these ARPA funds of $57.3 million, and we currently have about $15 million in free cash, that's about $72 million in free cash for all intents and purposes that we will have. And if we're going to use, and that was the amortization schedule, the debt schedule that I submitted to the counselors, it looks like we're going to need about $27 million in free cash over the next 10 years, $3-4 million per year out of free cash to supplement our general fund operating budget to pay for the debt service for the Oliver, the police station, and the Leahy School now. So we'll still have plenty of free cash, and all of this ARPA, all of the ARPA things that we could use for ARPA, we can use free cash for anything. And if it's the same as the ARPA regulations or something that's not so plain as the ARPA regulation provides. The ARPA regulations were very limited as what we can do, but certainly it was intended to stimulate the local businesses and residents of the city of Lawrence, and it could still be used that way. It'll just be free cash instead of ARPA, which means we don't have to report to the federal government on it, and it just gives the city a lot more flexibility. So that's in a nutshell the plan.
Thank you, Mr. Anello. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the council who wish to speak? Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. I'm not going to belittle the point. I think Councilor De Rosario and Director Iannello gave a really good explanation what this was about. What I want to make it clear to the council members is that we just voted for the Leahy School. This item right here is how we pay for it. So if we vote no on this, essentially we're going to be making it extremely difficult, and there's going to have to be some tough conversations about how the Leahy School is going to be funded. So I say again, a vote no on the funding for the Leahy School, to me at least, is a vote against the Leahy School. So I implore all the council members to vote yes to this appropriation. As Director Iannello said, if there is any worry about how funds from free cash are going to be expended, here's a great thing. We get to vote on what gets out of free cash. So please vote yes on this. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Any other members who wish to speak on this? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 2022. Clerk, please read the, I'm sorry, Counselor, Chair of the Budget Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. One moment while I get the page. The Budget and Finance Committee met on February 9th on item 22, on 2022, and we voted to send this to the full council as a committee report. This is a FY22 adjustment budget request that is coming from the mayor's office. So one note to state that after we vote on the committee report, I'm going to be making a motion to vote in favor of this with a amendment. Everyone should have received a memo from the Chief of Staff that was sent today. Essentially, just to brief everybody, there was an error in the Chief of Staff's last report, and there is, initially, the budget request was for two positions of $75,000 and two positions of $65,000, and what was presented within the Budget and Finance Committee, there was an error, and there is a request today for the, one second, let me just read the final email. So the request that the mayor's office is asking is request that the adjustment be made from free cash of $273,899.60. So you know what, Council President, I don't think I'll need an amendment for that because that's not on the initial item. So that would be what the motion would be for. So it would be for an adjustment to be made from free cash of $273,899.60. And I present this as a committee report.
Second.
Motion made as a committee report has been properly seconded. Discussion?
Discussion.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Mr. Payano, are we on the same page, where you have the adjustment budget, this page?
I am now at that page.
Do you see two positions that it was three positions? One it was 45,000 increase. The other one 37,500. All of those positions double up.
Yep, I understand. Through you, Council President. Council De La Cruz, there was, the conversation started with the information that you're seeing in front of you. That's where the conversation started at the Budget and Finance Committee. It then developed into that this, what you see in front of you, is not what we ended up the final discussion. So the final discussion at the Budget and Finance Committee was a memo that came from the Chief of Staff. He wasn't able to be there to present it, but there were several positions that were removed from that. And what I will read, I think, for the sake of the record.
Can we go by line, please?
Yeah, so we can't go by line because those documents are no longer, we are no longer talking about those documents. They're, what was previously part of the discussion, we moved on from that, and the administration came in with a memo essentially amending their request.
Then how are we going to vote for this tonight if we have to amend those things?
So,
it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 salaries that went double. One from 37,500 to 75. Two of those.
So
75,000.
Councilor Cruz, so the request from the mayor's office is an adjustment to be made to the mayor's office of $273,899.60, and then in his memo, they explain how that money is going to be spent. So $8,700 of that would be going to intern. There's currently 4 positions that pay around $43,750.20, and two of those salaries would be moved to $75,000, and 2 others to $65,000. There are several costs for professional services. There are costs for in-state travel, out-state travel, for printing and mailing, office supplies, other purchase services, and certain allowances that are coming with conference trainings and membership. For a lot of these portions, what the administration stated is that they are currently, while the city council allocated funds for the entire year, when they started, almost all those funds were already spent. So within 4 or 5 months, the funds that were supposed to be there for a year were spent, and they currently need those funds in order to conduct business. What the mayor has said is that a lot of these monies that are being used are coming from his pocket. So he's, if pens are needed, he's, having someone go out and get pens from his pockets. Yes, Councilor Cruz.
Can you tell me about the executive assistant that the salary went to $75,000? And the constituent service director.
So again, Councilor Cruz, you're looking at a document that is no longer being discussed.
And we shouldn't approve this tonight because we don't have the actual paper.
You do.
In front of us.
At this point, Councilor Levy has her hand up and will be recognizing her in a second. What we have in front of us right now is a committee report, an issuing of the committee report. Once the committee report, if it's approved by the council, we'll be looking for a motion to approve this document. And that's, I think, where we can start having a more robust discussion regarding some of these. I have some questions as well that I'll be asking the Budget and Finance Director at the appropriate time. But I'm going to hold those comments until we get the committee report adopted, and we can then discuss whether or not we're going to be supporting or opposing this request. Councilor Levy, you have the floor.
I will wait until we approve the committee report.
So the committee report, the motion's been made and it's been properly seconded to, this is not adopting it, this is just the committee report. Any further discussion on the committee report? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President, I'm not clear that I have the motion. Is the motion to approve the committee report, which is to support a favorable recommendation on the adjustment of?
No. The committee, the motion before the council is a simple motion that says there's a committee report. It does not say whether they were in favor, in opposition, or anything else. This is a report saying that the committee studied it and did not come with a recommendation. I fully expect after after we vote on this, that there will be somebody will probably make some sort of recommendation or some sort of motion.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the committee report is approved. Now, I'm looking for a motion, any motion
So,
that
Council
deals with this
President,
topic. Counselor Payano.
I'd like to make a motion that we, one second, let me just get back to, that we approve the request of $273,899.60.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded, and just so we're clear on what that number is, because it's not in our agenda item, is $273,899.60. Motion's been made and properly seconded. Discussion, and before I open up the discussion, the chair's got a question, probably to the Budget and Finance Director. We may have to shift to the Chief of Staff. So, good evening, Mr. Reinel. The question that the chair has is, this document looks like we are creating or amending some ordinance positions. Is that correct, or is that not correct? Or is this just a matter of bringing money over from free cash into the mayor's office, and then an ordinance will then need to be created or amended to reflect what is on our sheets before us? So help me understand where we are on this.
My understanding is there's no ordinance change there. I think there was some confusion. Originally, they had indicated there would be some additional titles or new titles. They decided to just leave them as executive assistants or mayor's aides, whatever the official title is, and they're going to leave those titles alone. They just happen to be performing different services. I believe the chief of staff can explain it, but I don't believe there's an ordinance change required. They're just looking to increase the salaries of mayor's aides, basically.
Okay, I think that's clear to me. All right.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak on this behalf. Couple of notes that I have in front of me, that it is important to recognize that the mayor's budget is $361,250. With this increasement, the mayor's office is going to go up proportionally 81.3%. That was before we get a memo with an update on the salaries, which reduced it by $20,000. But it's about 81% if the numbers were like we received it a week ago. 6/12 today, we received a memo changing a few things that I only got one small changes on salaries for the administrator aide to the mayor. That's without the position that we were discussing a few minutes ago, that is going to also increase the mayor's budget by $120,000 a year. 81% on any type of budget. Increasing 81% on any budget of the city of Lawrence will be a significant increasement. Today we are discussing this. As far as I was able to do my research, there is an ordinance that have to be changed before we even increase salaries to the administrative aide to the mayor, because on that ordinance, it includes the salaries. If we increase the salary without changing the ordinance, and then we're violating our own ordinance, because on the ordinance it states that that position is, I believe, 40-something thousand. not 65,000, not 75,000. Also, reading this and going through over the budget, it get to my mind, and I was trying to ask the question of what is the scale rate that we're gonna pay in those individuals? What is the actual scale rate to be able to determine the salary that we're gonna be paying the administrative aide to the mayor? So there is no scale. There was nothing like that presented. It was just that a salary need to be changed to a 1.65,000. The following week, after we have a huge, long discussion, they change it to 75,000 to all of them. All salary of the mayor aide is requested to change to 75. Now, 6/12 today, we get a memo saying, no, only 2 administrative aide to the mayor should go to 75,000, and the other 2 should go to 65,000. Let's assume that we're going to increase the salary to 75,000. What does that mean in perspective? That means that we're going to increase the salary to somebody by 70%. 70% salary increasement. Have you ever heard about that? That's kind of like, a lot of money. And we are not talking about taking money from free cash today until June. We need to deal with this in June. We need to deal with this for the retirement. We need to deal with this for the benefits. This is not about just slightly taking about 200-something thousand and put it on the mayor's office budget. This is a lot more than that. The impact that that's going to have on the city's finance is going to be a lot more than just 200-something thousand. Because in June, before June 30, we need to approve a budget that is going to include a salary of 65,000 to 2 administrator aide to the mayor and 75,000 to the other 2. That is not just a salary increasement. We are talking about a significant amount of money that is going to have to be allocated for the benefit and for the retirement, who knows. Another point of view that I see this is like everybody that goes to the mayor's office have the opportunity to learn about the entire city, learn about the different services that we provide on every department in the city of Lawrence, which actually ensure that we have and prepare those people working for the mayor's office to go to all the departments that are going to be making more money with the passion and compassion that the mayors want their personnel. I have seen in my 6 years as a councilor, 6-something years as a councilor, that mayors change, allow those people to learn about the system and allow those people to move forward within the system. If we pay a $75,000 to an administrative aide to the mayor, first of all, we're paying basically at the same level of the chief of staff. The chief of staff have a lot of responsibilities. And I believe that that salary is right to the point. We actually changed the salary probably like a year and a half ago to that position 2 years ago. And having the administrator aide to the mayor making $75,000 there is not incentive for them to move forward to another department. Because what? They're going to be making $100,000. There's a few jobs in the city that make $100,000. So we gotta understand the main objective of working for the mayor's office. The mayor's office is more about passion. It is not so much about the money, and essentially, we are not having that right now, paying $75,000 to two of the administrative aid and $65,000 to the other two, which, by the way, that changed today at 6:12 today, that memo. I received that memo with the new salaries today at 6:12. So I just want to make sure that we understand the perspective of what are we doing. If we do this, we increase in the mayor's budget by 81.3%. That's not including the position that we were discussing today, which add $120,000 more for this coming budget. And if we increase salaries from 43,000, or my calculation, 44,169 to $75,000, that's about 30,830 difference, which means 69.8% or about 70% increasement on the salaries. That's on one part of the budget. On the other part of the budget, we need to make sure that we discussed the allowances. And one of the allowances that we have in front of us is the $7,200 for allowance to the mayor to use his personal vehicle. That's going to be through the payment of miles at 58 at the federal rate, which I believe is 58 cents per mile. And it is important to recognize that we are actually voting for that allowance today. In-state travel and out-of-state travel, that's out-of-state, both of them add up to $20,000. $5,000 for in-state travel and $15,000 for out-of-state travel. We need to recognize that we paying $7,200 to the mayor for the use of his personal vehicle. And we need to recognize that having a vehicle, different than what we have in front of us on the memo, that previous mayor have leases on their vehicles. No, they're not. They were not leased. They were purchased by the city. And one of those vehicles is being used by the Water and Sewer Department. And the other vehicle on the last 8 years that were purchased is being used by the police department, that the mayor actually said on the first day of his new job as mayor, he returned that vehicle to the police department. That was supposed to be the vehicle that the mayor's office used, not the mayor's by itself, the mayor's office. But now we need to pay $7,200 for allowances for the mayor to use his personal vehicle. That's important to say that on record, because we keep on saying, by the way, this money is coming from free cash. And I just want to make sure that we understand. This money is coming from free cash, and we just released a $57 million budget of ARPA money that is going to be on free cash. So this is going to be very tough for me to vote in favor of it. There is a few items that I agree, that I wish that we can split this item into several items so we can approve different things out of the budget, because I think it's fair to have allocations that allow the mayor's office to function. But there is other allocations that I just argue, or perhaps put my personal point of view, that we need to be discussed. And the taxpayers need to know about this stuff. So with that said, thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilor Levy.
President. Just hearing all of this discussion, I think, it is my belief that we should divide this item in three parts to be voted. One is salary, one is travel expenses, and the other one is office expenses. I don't think so that we should be vote in just only one block or just only one item. It is much better and for people to understand and to be discussing. Also, I would like to make a motion to table. We had the information that we had at the last time. And I don't think so that none of you or most of you didn't have the time to read what we was in the memo that it was sent to us by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Bonet. We received this at 6:27 today. At least we should have those kind of information with 24 to 48 hours before that we can come to a meeting. Thank you.
Is that a motion to table, Counselor?
A motion to
Second the
table.
motion.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Counselor De La Cruz. There's no discussion on a tabled matter. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
No.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
No.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
No.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
No.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante,
Yes.
5 to table.
Motion is tabled. Next item is document number 2822, Budget and Finance Committee Chairman.
Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee met and unanimously passed with a favorable recommendation, item 2922, order to expend grant funds for 9/11 support, an incentive grant of up to $405,377. Nope, I'm sorry. Up to $189,468.
2822.
Thank God that I didn't second that one.
Council President, we are now at item 2822. Budget and Finance Committee met and still voting to send to the full council unanimously with favorable recommendation in order to expend grant funds, support and incentive grant of up to $405,377.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion?
Discussion, please.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Miss Eileen? No, she's gone. Oh, she's here.
Counselor Brunel?
Hi, Counselor.
Hi, Counselor.
Yeah, good to see you.
Great to see you.
Counselor, will that, part of that money be used for the youth program?
No, this is a support and incentive grant. The SSYI, I think is what you're thinking of, also has the word support in it. This is specifically and only for the 911 call center. So this is to allow to support the center, which means we can pay for some of the licensing and internal costs of that, and then we can actually pay some salaries from January 1 through June 30th for call takers. So this is strictly a call taker-oriented grant. It is not a youth-oriented program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Next document is document 2922, Budget Committee Chairman. Counselor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. So we are now on item 2922, present that of a motion.
Motion's been made and properly second. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Counsel Levy?
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Piano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez. Counsel
I vote yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Next document is document 3022. Budget Committee Chairman.
Council President, thank you so much. The Budget and Finance Committee met and we voted to send item 3022, order to expend grant funds for FY22, automated external defibrillators, a grant up to $2,500 to the full council with favor recommendation. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made and properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Piano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. Next series of documents are on the Ordinance and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. The first document is document number 3222, Ordinance Committee Chair and Vice President.
Council President, I think we're in item 3122.
My bad, I love the spirit of what you were doing earlier. Doc.
I see that our chief of police, is there. Wouldn't be happy if we missed this one.
Perfect. Let's, with that endorsement, let's do document 3122, Budget and Finance Committee Chair.
Thank you, Council President. Item 3122, the City Council met February 9th, and we voted to send this item with a favorable recommendation. The item is as appropriations transfer from free cash to police operations motor vehicle of $546,000. We voted to send this with a favorable recommendation to the full council, and I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made and properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Piano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Now, Ordinance Committee documents, document 3222. Chairwoman Reyes.
Thank you, Councilor President. I would like to take a motion to take all the document, similar document as a block.
Second.
move.
The document is going to be 3222, 3322, 3422, 3522, 3622, 3722, and 3822.
The motion before the council is to take documents 3222 to 3822 as a block. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Discussion. No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Present.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Piano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. It now is a block.
Okay. Document 3222 is a taxi and livery annual renewal. Merrimack Transportation Corporation, all the paperwork in order. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation. I'm going to be reading one by one, and then I'm going to make the motion at the last. 3322 is the taxi livery annual renewal, Population Taxis Corp. LLC. It also came out with a favor recommendation. Tax number 3422, livery annual reboot, 5 Star Express Transportation LLC. 3522, Livery Taxis Inc. is also come out with a favor recommendation. 3622, L&M Transportation LLC. 3722, is American Taxi Cab and Livery LLC. And 3822 is a Rio Hondo Transportation LLC. All the item has been sent out with the favor recommendation, and I make this as a formal motion.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded by Counselor Dela Cruz. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk. Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Infante.
I have a clarification question. So we are, this is to approve their business operations so they can continue?
To renew the medallion, I'm sorry.
So these are licenses. Do you want to take them, Madam Chair?
Yeah, it's just to renew the medallion. The city owns the medallion, they come in front of us just to renew. The business is separate themselves, so the medallion has nothing to do with the business. I know there is a lot of complaints about the taxi driving, and I want to take, and thank you for that question, I want to take this time to clarify. This has nothing to do with the customer service that they had been providing out in the public. I want to myself that I'm putting something together with them because something needs to change. So there's no way that we can talk to them if it's not that they press the horn like 4 or 5 times, even though the passenger doesn't come on time. Driving is stop everywhere without putting the signal in the middle of the street. I heard all the complaints, but I had this conversation with Councilor De Rosario, and they are willing to hear from us. However, the only thing we can do is to take a medallion away, but that you have to have some kind of sort of documents that is going to support it. What is the reason that you're taking a medallion from someone? So the business is who owns the medallion, who putting the business together, but he's the one have to control the customer service and how the taxis are driving. So what we are proving has nothing to do with the complaint that we've been hearing. So, but I encourage all of you that you call every single company and complaints and will pass the complaint that we all know. Okay, so what we have in front of us is the medallion. And by the way, Sergeant Bonilla, he couldn't make it tonight. He was present at the ordinance committee.
Thank you, Vice President.
Any Counselor Rodriguez?
I have a few questions to the Madam Chair for the
Okay.
ordinance committee. So we have 7 companies in front of us. That's the total amount of medallions for that the city owns, or that's just, do you have the quantity as of how many medallions those 7 companies have?
Those are the one that has been coming in front of us. So those are the one as renewal. Another package is going to be coming in front of us because they didn't have all the paper in order. We own more medallions, but this is not all the companies, and this is not all the medallions. I believe the last time we checked, I believe we have 100 and something, 130, 150.
150.
Yes, 150. Oh, you were back then in ordinance committee when we had the number. I don't think that has changed, but this is only a small portion that they've been complying with the papers, but more is coming in front of us.
Can we ask at the ordinance committee to include the amount of medallions that each company that we are approving have? Perhaps, I'm reading here, taxis and livery, Anna Renew, Merrimack Transportation. So I would like to know how many medallions Merrimack Transportations own, or how many medallions they're using, because we own the 150 medallions, the city of Lawrence. But how many of those 150 they're using? So I would like to know that information, because, and that way we keep it transparent in terms of, I don't know if one of those guys owns 20 medallions and they're renting it out. I mean, the city property, so people need to know about that stuff. But if you don't know, that's fine.
What I encourage you to do is to get in touch with Sergeant Bonilla. I believe that he has 2 new officers. They are working under his umbrella. So get in contact with him, and he's going to be able to provide that information, because I agree with you. We need to know who owns what and how many they are in only one company.
I have no more questions.
Any other comments, questions, members of the council? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Council Levy. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document 4022, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor President. The applicants were here early, but I asked them to leave because I know that was taking longer, and I saw they have child, also was one child that was kind of fall asleep. So this is something that, document 4022 is, it came out with the favor recommendation. It's going to be a event that they are putting together. All the paperwork in order. They was able to explain how they're going to do. They was trying to do that last year for some reason, and well, we know the reason. The pandemic kicks in, and they wouldn't be able to make it. So they are requesting to change from 12 to 7. So the time is going to be from 12 through 7, same day, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made,
Second the motion.
seconded by Council Payano. Discussion. Council. Apparently, Council De La Cruz has made the second. I thought I heard Council Payano. I misheard, but I do see Councilor Levy with her hand up. Councilor Levy.
Yes, I just raised my hand when we were talking about the medallion. And I was trying to speak about it.
Didn't see it.
So I know that maybe it is a little late, but I was trying to say that we should send a letter to, what is his name? So regarding the medallion, and to send the information that we were looking for. I know that it's...
That has been adopted.
I was trying to speak before the motion.
Unless somebody wants to motion to reconsider that document, that
Offer a
would not
motion.
be at this
I'll offer
point.
that motion. To reconsider.
There's a motion to reconsider. Is there a second?
Second.
Good point, Counselor. Parliamentary query. So the question right now is the following. It would be in order right now to conclude our discussion on document 4022. When that is disposed of, I will look for a motion to reconsider on the previous document. So right now, let's finish up 4022. Any discussion on 4022? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Council Infante.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Council De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Councilor Rodriguez, for what purpose do you rise?
I would like to make a motion to reconsider, so to provide an opportunity to Council Levy to speak.
There's a
Second.
motion to reconsider the blocked items of 32 all the way to 3822. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second for a motion to reconsider. And Mr. Rodriguez was on the prevailing side, so that motion would be in order. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Council Levy.
Yes.
Council De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Infante.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. I'm now looking for a motion, probably a motion to approve those documents again.
So moved.
Motion made to
Second.
approve and adopt and seconded. Now, discussion, Counselor Levy.
What I say is to send a letter to, what is the name of the police?
Sergeant.
Yes. To send a letter, you're asking for the question regarding how many medallion we have, how many are using, and who is using the medallion.
The question for the council, is that a friendly amendment that you're going to be offering to? Is that a friendly amendment to Mr. Payano?
I will take that as a.
Motion, a friendly amendment has.
And I think that you want more than that.
I will ask, did I encapsulate that correctly, or did I miss something, Counselor Levy?
No, that is okay.
So the motion has been made, it's been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Infante.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Payano. Council Payano.
Yes.
Council Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Council Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Thank you, councilors.
President, it will be in order to make another motion on this item or no?
No, we just concluded that. That was the final disposition on that item. At this point, we have tabled matters. I know we had a discussion last week on that. I know that there's been some correspondence sent to the mayor. I did talk to the mayor's office earlier, and they requested a little more time to review the documents that we were sent to them. So I think we should honor that request and not take those documents up. Are there any other documents on these matters that we may be able to perhaps take off the table? I'm looking at document number 9420 that was put on by the city clerk at that time in June of 2020. It's document number 9420. Is there a motion to take that document off of table matters for the purpose of withdrawing?
So moved.
Second. Motion
made by Councilor Payano, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Council Levy.
Yes.
Council Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The chair is now looking for a motion to withdraw document 9420.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Payano, seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Council Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Council Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to withdraw carries. Are there any other items under table matters that a member of the council wishes to take off the table?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
I would like to take item 12520 out of the table matters.
Motion number 12520 is asked to take off the table matters. Motion has been made and it's been properly seconded.
I would like to, through you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Rodriguez, yes.
I would like to,
Okay, so let's take the vote on, then you can make the motion. So, clerk, please call the roll.
Council Levy.
Yes.
Council Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Council Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to take off the table, Councilor Rodriguez, what's your
Yeah, I
motion?
would like to make a motion to send correspondence to the Chief of Staff, Rambonet, to whether or not he want to keep this item on the agenda. I know that he was very passionate about it, so I would like to send the correspondence to Rambonet, the Chief of Staff.
Motion's been made, properly made and properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Piano?
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Levy? President LaPlante?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes. Are there, thank you. Are looking to table that document again?
Yes, I do.
Motion made by Counselor Rodriguez, seconded by Vice President Reyes. Clerk, please call the roll. The table.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Piano?
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Infante?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion to table it carries. We had some discussions among ourselves and others on document 283 and 285. This is dealing with permits for the next Christmas. Is there a motion to go past 10 o'clock?
So move.
By Counselor
Second.
Rodriguez, seconded by Counselor Reyes. Vice President Reyes. Roll call.
Counselor Levy? Counselor
Levy. Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Piano?
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Infante?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes, motion to go past 10 carries. Document 283, is there a motion to take that off the table for the purpose of withdrawing? Hearing none? Hearing none, we'll just move on to new business. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to take off the table matters. No seeing much of an appetite. 10 o'clock, I got you. The crowd is asking for new business, so we're going to give the crowd new business. 4122, handicap parking, 93 Myrtle Street. That's going to ordinance. 4222, request to add Hobson Street to emergency winter parking ban list is going to ordinance. 4322, handicap parking, 21 Magnolia Street, for Jose Capellan, put on by Councilor Del Rosario. That's going before the ordinance committee. Document number 4422, a study review of Magnolia Street, put on by Councilor Del Rosario. That is going to, Councilor, what is that about? What is that? What's it about? She may be doing some ordinances from there? Okay, okay. Gotcha. So, thank you, understood, and we're gonna send that to the ordinance committee. Document 4522, order to expend grant funds, FY 21 Justice Assistance Grant of up to $52,624 going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 4622, order to expend grant funds, emergency performance grant for $33,280. That's going before the Budget and Finance Committee. Document number 4722, an order to expend grant funds, FY 22 firefighter equipment grant program of $20,283.78 is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 4822, a request to accept 3 public utility easements for construction and maintenance South Broadway and Merrimack Street intersection. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 4922, request to accept 5 permanent easements for construction and maintenance on South Broadway and Merrimack Street intersection. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document number 5022, a request to add position of Assistant Fire Chief to the Fire Department. That is going to the Personnel Committee and to the Ordinance Committee. That is it for new business. Councilors,
Council President, just a quick question.
Yes.
Item 5022,
is there any like collateral information? Because I know that this could stay, so I'm just more concerned for the Personnel Committee. So for the Ordinance Committee, they can just table it. There's other items that they have. For Personnel, if there isn't a job description or, ordinance, then there's not much for Personnel to meet. Right, so I'm just kind of want to put that out there and just ask that before we begin.
So I understand. So the point that you're making is that there's not a lot of background material with respect to this document, and you feel as though because of a lack of supplemental documentation that there's really no need. The challenge that I'm facing right now, that this is put before the city, before us. Now we have it, and we need to collectively put this before the proper committees. The proper committees are those two committees. Whether it stays and it gets tabled or whatever,
Understood. So, Council President, I guess my question is there supplemental documents?
I have not received. I'll look for the clerk for any other information.
Okay.
Okay. So there you go. So we've got, it's going before those two committees. While I have your attention, there's a couple of house cleaning items to take care of. One, it's not actually house cleaning. Well, it is, I guess. Charter review. We need to get this thing done. It has been around for some time. I'm alerting counselors that I will be asking for a special meeting dealing strictly with the charter review. The meeting date on that will be on February 28th, which is a Monday night. I know we have a city council meeting the other night. There's no really optimum nights for these, but we will do it that night. And so the city attorney will be here as well to help shepherd it. We have the chair of the Charter Review Committee who's going to be helpful. So it's an important night, an important meeting, and hopefully we can conclude the charter review process with a final vote. Hopefully, we'll see where this goes. That's number one. Second piece of house cleaning is Public Safety Committee. I asked some questions. I think Councilor Rodriguez provided some information, which I thought was helpful. They're really, at this point, there is no basis that we can find in any supporting documentation for a creation currently of the Public Safety Committee. As it exists right now, there really is no Public Safety Committee. So I will ask the City Council, if you wish for there to be a Public Safety Committee, I can recreate or create the Public Safety Committee. What I will need is 4 city councilors to say they want to be on the Public Safety Committee. If I get 4 city councilors who say, yes, I want to be on the Public Safety Committee, whoa, show of hands. All right, so that's fantastic. So I see 3 quick ones. If I get 1 more, we're going to make this happen. There we go. The whole right side makes it. So we're going to have a Public Safety Committee. I will do this. We will look, let's figure out the rest of the meetings of budget and finance, personnel, the rest of the stuff, and then let's figure out a night that we can start that process, okay? Councilor Pound, looking to you first, budget and finance.
So Budget and Finance, we will meet February 23rd at 7 p.m. Personnel, we will meet March 7th at 7 p.m.
No business at this point.
Next Tuesday,
What day is that?
22nd.
22nd.
insurance and all that stuff.
Yep, so you can figure that all out again as when you get started on the 24th. So public safety on the 24th. Okay, any other matters before? I don't think there's any other matters, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion made by
Second.
Councilor Rodriguez, seconded by Councilor Payano. Roll call.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy. President LaPlante.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.